Are movie critics out of touch with regular people now? For years, decades, people have relied on the scores of IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes to indicate whether they should watch a movie or not. Whether we like it or not, movie critics have a large sway on word of mouth and what audiences will or will not watch. And now with the advent of content creators coming aboard, anyone can come online and say anything. There's a plethora of YouTube movie critics now that are all making content. The time of the Roger Eberts, who would treat movie criticism like journalism, is over. Now it's the time of the degenerates like me, just talking blatant shit. And with all these critics on YouTube and on the internet, we have a multitude of subjective takes that really do affect the viewership of different films. But I've been noticing a staggering division between what critics like and what audiences like. Audiences and the scores that certain critics would give films. I wanted to dive into why that is. First, I want to talk about the aggregator websites, like IMDb, Rotten Tomatoes, all of them. Are they worth listening to or reading anymore? I'm an IMDb guy. I look at the ratings on IMDb a lot. I don't give a shit about Rotten Tomatoes. I have always seen this as an industry standard for movie reviews. But here's the thing about some of these websites, especially when it comes to the timeline of when movies come out. How can you really be reliant on a movie system that changes week throughout week? A movie will be really high the first week because less people have gotten to it. But by the third week, by the time the movie's fully released, the score will change completely and drastically. In the first week, it could be the worst movie of all time, by the way, and it might have a 60 or 70% and then plummet to the 20s by the time it's done. We see this with all kinds of movies. Me and my friends always say, okay, the IMDb scores are out, let's wait a couple days. I first noticed this with Godzilla 2014 because I wasn't really paying attention to any of this movie criticism shit, especially when it comes to ratings, but this movie started out with like a 9 on IMDb and then plummeted to like 6.2 by the time it was done or something like that. What's interesting is people now cast value judgments on that. If you are a 7 or below, you're like down in the dumps to a lot of people. A lot of people won't even look your way. If you're not a 7.5 to 8, it's over, at least from what I've seen. Now, of course, people are starting to come around to say, okay, a 6 is actually a pretty decent score, especially for like a horror movie or something on IMDb, because it's really hard to get a rating like 9 or 8 unless you are like a masterpiece that's generational or a lot of critics are glazing it. Rotten Tomatoes. I don't even know what to say about Rotten Tomatoes, but it is also another one that people look at. This has a tomato meter. A short form video will come out saying, oh, here's the tomato meter, what is it, what's the percentage rating, and then people are anticipating what Rotten Tomatoes gave the movie that they wanted to see. It's like people glaze the opinions of these aggregator websites so much, and there's millions of opinions out there. Look at the difference between critics ratings and audience ratings, right? Okay, Joker, fine, more or less leveled out. Batwoman season 1, how the fuck did this get 70% with critics? Granted, only 40 critics reviewed it, which is why I said don't take too much stock in these websites, especially when it comes to certain points in time. Wait, I don't know what Batwoman is rated now. No way it can be rated 70% still, but 12% automatically. Within the first week, this is what it was. You're starting to see huge differences in what the audience is like and what the critics like. King Arthur, Legend of the Sword. I think personally, this is an underrated movie. It's got problems. It's got flaws. I'm not saying this is a masterpiece or anything. Far from it. But the critics hated on this movie. They tanked it. While the audience meter, listen, I get it. There's less reviews for the critics, so there's more reviews here, but usually when we see a large amount of people rating something this high, that means there's some kind of disillusionment. There's some difference there. Something's wrong. The audience is seeing something that the critics don't. Critics are seeing a huge deficiency that the audience is just missing out because this is an entertaining film. Emilia Perez, another one. This was like an Oscar winner or something, right? I've tried watching this several times, by the way. It's got good cinematography, good acting, but my lord, this is hard to get through. People hated it, but critics glazed it. Sometimes both can be terribly wrong, okay? Sometimes the critics can be on the money. Like Black Adam, I don't think this is a good movie at all. If you wanted to rate it 39% to a 50%, even if you say they're underrating it and you want to give it a 40, 50%, it's still nowhere near a fucking 87. 5,000 verified ratings. Enough people enjoyed it to give it that higher rating, right? And I did see a lot of people saying, dude, the critics are wrong. This is a really fun movie. Again, you're basing opinions on a huge quantity of people writing their opinions about something. Critics value things that casual audiences don't. Casual audiences may not be looking for deeper things in the cinematography, the writing, the symbolism that critics are, right? But more than anything, these websites are made up of a sum of opinions, a sum of people who either don't know what they're talking about, that are very hyped up and emotional and just make a review, right? Willy-nilly. A sum of people who are level-headed and know what they're talking about, and then a sum of trolls and haters. That's what you're relying on. And the people who are level-headed, there's not that many of them on these websites. You have review bombing, right? Tons of movies are getting review bombed left and right. Fan bases from each side of the field just want to go on IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes and give it a 1% score, one score. Like, bro, it's crazy. Don't even get me started on IGN. IGN might be the worst. You can see singular reviews, not an aggregate, but singular reviews of certain things, and just you don't understand where they're coming from. Stranger Things finale, they gave it a fucking 9. Even if you like the Stranger Things finale, you need to admit this shit was nowhere near a 9 if you're objective. What the hell is this, bruv? Invincible 4, Snow White 7. Are you high on crack? What was their reasoning for giving it a 4? Oh, Invincible, the season finale was so random. A random villain that we don't know comes in and has nothing to do with the rest of the story. Let me tell you something, fuckers. That random villain that came in to beat the brakes off of Invincible, he is better than that fight scene is better than anything that happened in the Snow White movie. Period! The reason I like stuff like Letterboxd is it's just fun. You're not taking things too seriously. It's literally just a cool fan documentation and recommendation website. That's how I see it. People can document all the movies they see, give a quick review, and everyone knows they're not professional reviews by any means, right? It's fun. And then we need to get to the SHILL aspect of things. The SHILL critics. This is a big problem. I don't want to call out anyone specifically. Many people have been accused of this. I'm going to say this right now. When I saw how much glaze Sinners was getting, and look, I think Sinners is a good film. And I know a lot of people hate it. A lot of people fucking love it. But the amount of praise I was seeing for this film, you would think this is like a generational, once-in-a-lifetime, best movie of the decade type shit. That's what people were saying. I saw the movie, I'm like, really? This is the one that everyone was glazing? People are putting this in their, like, the best movie of all time, best movie of the year? I'm like, how? Then I started to ask myself, how many of these reviews are actually genuine? I'm starting to see the reactions of certain critics. Certain critics do reaction videos too, and then they put out their reviews just out of the theater movie, right? And I'm seeing these reactions, and I'm like, some of these feel very forced. Some of these feel like, oh, we're just doing this for content. We're just doing this because we want to push a narrative or something. You know, like, it really does, it comes off very, very fake. I'm seeing the reactions to dog shit half the time. Some of the stuff they react to is actually really bad, but then they're pretending to like it, and I'm getting annoyed. I have to ask myself, do these people mean it? Are they fucking lying? Collider. No defamation. All I'm gonna say is, there are some movie review and movie-based websites with critics that have literal critics paid to interview certain actors and directors of films that they have to watch and make reviews on, invited to private screenings and shit to meet and do Q&As. I've literally seen people from Collider who do movie reviews interviewing the people whose movie they're trying to make. You're telling me that there's no bias whatsoever here? No bias at all? There fucking has to be. At some point, you know when someone's lost the ability to be objective about a film. There's a large incentive now for critics to glaze because we have more and more people being invited to screenings. Oh, Marvel did that one Avengers Doomsday first time reaction thing with a bunch of critics and movie YouTubers, right? This is the fakest shit I've ever seen in my life. You know, all these people, first of all, saw the trailer already leaked online because you had to be living under a rock to not see that shit. And half of them are just, one of them was fake crying, like, bro, what the fuck? I know a fake one when I see one. I know it. And then we have to talk about the critics that seem to have given up and have admitted that they're not going to criticize films, like Chris Stuckman. Now, I want to make something very clear. I am a Chris Stuckman fan. I've been watching this dude since 2013, 2012. It's been a long time, bruv. He is one of the reasons why I've looked into films deeper and done further analysis and actually thought about films differently and watched them differently. Years and years of watching him has taught me how to look into certain details, right? He used to make really fucking goated videos too, bro. His hilariosity reviews were great. Chris Stuckman used to be funny and entertaining. He used to actually rank and rate videos, right? He had a ranking system, like, he'd give movie Fs and D minuses and As and Bs, right? It's like, you know how Jeremy Johns has Awesome-tacular and dog shit. He has that too. He used to have that, at least. He stopped now. I wanted to stay away from negativity because he's like, oh, there's so much negativity on the internet and the culture. I want to stay away from that. And look, I understand. There's a lot of toxicity out there, and we're going to get to some of the perpetrators of that, but now it's come to the point where you don't actually know if he's being authentic or not. With the release of his movie, Shelby Oaks, people have said and accused him of, you're playing it safe because you want to have safe inroads into the Hollywood community. You want to have good connections and good relationships with producers and people that can get your foot in the door, so you're not trying to shit on anyone's movie. And as a filmmaker, I can understand that, right? Content's going to suffer greatly. And I have not seen Shelby Oaks. I've heard mixed to really bad things about it, but I might make a video on it. I'm going to try to watch it because, look, I find it inspiring You know, the idea of a YouTuber making a film. That's a dream thing, right? But your content is shit now. It's nowhere near as good as what it was. It's not even worse. It's like a husk, a shallow husk, and no one can even deny that. And then you have the gambling controversy. He is shilling gambling websites left and right on his videos. He did it in the Wicked video, and it's one of the most fake-looking AI-generated ad campaigns I've ever seen. His videos are now a 4 to 5 minute video with 50% of the video being a fucking sponsor that's sus as shit. He was doing it with Clover. The way he's sponsoring these gambling websites and stuff, it's the most soulless shit ever. Oh, look how immersive this thing. This gambling website is borderline cinematic. You'll feel like a high roller. Like, bro, it's ChatGPT. It's literally ChatGPT generated. I'm seeing this with a lot of critics now. Not as bad as this, but they're businessmen. They're no longer... It doesn't feel like they're film fans anymore. Chris Stuckman still has some good takes on movies. His favorite film of the year was also mine. I'm really glad that he's one of the few people that's talking about No Other Choice. I don't know why people don't mention this. I know it's Korean, I get it, but still... Parasite was glazed to death. This movie should be getting more praise. I do think Chris Stuckman has an eye for these better films, right? But it's unfortunate what's happened to his content. And then we get to the political side of things. This is tough. You have your very PC and liberal people, right, who won't say shit about a movie and will glaze it. Then you have the very anti-woke people who are farther right? You have Critical Drinker and Nerdrotic. I've made it no mystery that I'm not the biggest fan of them. Don't really watch a lot of the content. I'll tell you the critics that I do watch. But they have amassed large audiences who are fed up with Hollywood injecting politics into film, even in gaming too, right? There's a lot of people who hate this, forcing what it seems to be an ideological agenda or lazily writing it in. Diversity, Me Too, social issues, DEI can range from a movie that has that can be good to absolute and utter cringe, and it seems like the absolute and utter cringe is taking over more and more with Hollywood films as we see it. So now it's coming off lazy and forced. These guys fill the gap in the content market and talked about that, and a lot of their points are on the money when it comes to that. I'm not a fan of this. I'm not. Here's the issue though. We've seen a lot more videos, exposed videos on Critical Drinker and all of them, people talking about the idea of them. Could these guys be grifters? Some of the things they've said, some of the takes they have on movies, you can tell it's not coming purely from a movie critic lens, but it's coming more from a political lens. There's certain comments I've noticed in certain interviews with the likes of Critical Drinker where I'm like, I don't think you know what you're talking about half the time. And I'm sorry to any Critical Drinker fans, but this is just what I see. It seems to me that a lot of this content, and there's a lot of people who are tired of this anti-woke content too. I've seen it in my comments, people have emailed me personally saying, I'm glad that you're not doing this type of shit. Creators like this can get predictable, biased seemingly for certain things that they shill for and some of those things they hate. And then it can cause toxic discourse and discussion when it comes to film. Audiences, the way fans talk about film now, the rhetoric they use, you start to reverberate the shit that you get from these people. People start talking like sheep with the same talking points, and it just gets muddy. I saw a lot of outrage by people who were on the anti-woke train, hating everything like it. I saw some people discussing the outrage with Squid Game Season 2. Now remember, Squid Game Season 2 is phenomenal, but there was a trans character in there. There was a storyline with a trans character, okay? And people are like, oh my god, Squid Game's gone woke, this is going to be shit, this is terrible. Season 2 was great. Season 3, but Season 2 was really, really good. So what I'm saying is, even though there's a lot of dirt, I fear that when we start to hate everything that has a little even hint of woke or diversity and stuff like that, we tend to miss out on stuff that could actually genuinely be good. And I don't like it when the discourse gets to that level. On the opposite end, you have people like Grace Randolph who spout some of the worst nonsense I've ever seen. They're completely on the ideological other side, and it's just insane, bro. They'll block you if you disagree with them. They'll call you names and stuff. Like, it's just the reviews that they give out. A lot of it just seems purely politically motivated and nothing else. And it's a problem. Here are my safe bets when it comes to people I watch. I still watch Jeremy Jahns. I still like Jeremy. I don't agree with everything he says. I still think he's real. I don't think he's a full-on shill. I don't think he's not someone who stays away from negativity like Chris Stuckman either. It still seems to me that he's still one of the real ones out there. And I still do look at the IMDb scores out of habit. I do. The problem is we don't have Roger Eberts anymore. People call me a movie reviewer. I don't consider myself a movie reviewer. First of all, I'm a fan. More than anything, I'm a fan. I'm not a journalist. I'm not a writer. I'm not anything. I'm a fan. But movie reviews is like the tip of the iceberg of what I do, right? I'm going to rate this movie. It's more than that. It's reviews, it's schizo theories, script rewrites, script pitches, how to beat this monster, list rankings, tier lists, lore breakdowns, Zaffy lore, my own videos, rants, exposing Hollywood and the industry itself. I'm doing everything, bro. I have the most diverse YouTube film channel. Come on now. Admit it, guys. You know this. My goal here is not to convince you. You need to pay to watch this movie. This movie's better than that. Like, I do review films. I do tell you which ones are good, which ones are bad, what were the problems with this, how this could have been fixed, all this stuff. I do that. But above all, I'm a fan and an entertainer. That's my job. I'm never going to tell you to take my opinion as seriously. You don't need to agree with me or put stock in my opinions. Bro, I made a video yesterday about how Jake Sully's the villain in Avatar. A lot of people pushed back against it and said I was wrong straight up. Okay, good. I'm just putting ideas out there. If you can hate him or like him, it's fine. I'm going to be talking about how Coraline is a secret sequel to Stranger Things. I know a lot of people are about to disagree with that and call me a clown, but it's true. All right? I'm putting schizo theories out here into the ether. Let's see if y'all can handle it. I'm not trying to tell you what to do with your life. You can't really trust anyone but yourself. Only you know what you like. If you're interested, then you're interested. If you're going in hating a film, no movie critic is going to change your mind. I've noticed this with a lot of people. They go in wanting a film to fail and die hard. You're not going to like it then. You're simply not. So that's the case, guys. I just wanted to mention that because it does seem like movie critics they don't seem representative of the people. That's all. Bye. Ladies and gentlemen, we are on a mission to take over Hollywood. But the army must keep growing. If you want to suggest video topics to me or talk about your favorite movies or favorite film theories in a community with like-minded individuals, join the Zafy Discord now. Link is in the description and the comment section as well. Join us. This movement is just beginning. We're taking over Hollywood, one coke line at a time.